Hi everyone, how you doing? So it's been 2 years since I started the Think Big initiative. My project was about breaking through the yawn barrier of politics, mainly through showing young people in workshops that politics is more than just a building filled with old people shouting at each other. It can open doors, promote freedoms, and democratise even the most disengaged young person. All I had to do was break through those negative connotations that many young people relate to politics, and indeed with politicians, and show them how creative and adventurous it can be, especially in a digital age. As I'm sure you know, it's a huge battle trying to get people involved in politics. It's even a struggle to get adults involved in politics. But this is what I was passionate about. Even as a youngster, I remember watching the news about the atrocities happening in Kosovo and walking up to my mother and expressing my concerns over Slobodan Milosevic. I can barely say the name now. She, as I'm sure you can imagine, was shocked that even someone in single digits could pronounce the name, and even shocked when I started to list the reasons why the UN should intervene under international law. My father was equally shocked, and that was an interesting conversation around the dinner table that night. But that hunger, that interest, and that passion grew inside me throughout those early years, and I was always continually looking to ways to funnel that political frustration. This hunger drove me towards college, and eventually led me on a path towards university, being the first person in my family to get a degree. I wanted to surround myself with like-minded people that shared my beliefs and values. I wanted to debate with my peers and lecturers, discuss the hard topics, expand my knowledge, and immerse myself within a free-thinking environment. But on my way to reaching this goal, I experienced some problems. See, I'm a passionate and dedicated person, but like most young people, I had some demons. A few bad decisions and some drug use led to my dismissal from the school system. The one institution that allowed me to explore my political interests was now taken away from me, and I was completely lost. Eventually, after 3 months and a disciplinary hearing, and based on my good grades and attendance, I was allowed back into the school system, and from here, pushed myself to achieve not only a first-class honours in my degree and several academic awards, but an attitude and a drive that would help me succeed in the future. After graduation, I knew where I wanted to be, and 2 weeks after getting my degree, headed straight to London. Starting off in the media industry, I quickly moved into the third sector and worked on a number of projects from improving young people's business literacy to communicating with some of the world's most influential young people at the London School of Economics. Throughout this period, I found myself and amongst tens of thousands of young people, not just in London but around the world, protesting at the rise of tuition fees and the removal of EMAs. Again, and armed with my trusty handycam, I was recording the biggest mobilization of young people seen in decades, and was proud to be a part of a generation who have continually been written off and accused of not caring about their societies and their futures. In between that time, I finally found a way to funnel my political frustrations through creative means, and it was called Hands Up Who's Bored. If we could roll the first tape.
Now follows a party political broadcast by the Who's Bored Party.
I'm on the rocky road, heading down off the mountain slope, and as my steps echo, echo, louder than before, another day is done, say goodbye to the setting sun.
Giving the vote to 16-year-olds is pointless. We need education to go with it. A huge percentage of the population who have the right to vote don't. Ask yourself why this is. Surely it's because they don't understand the system.
Wanna turn it up, every day can't be the best day. Do what you can right now, don't hesitate. That's why we try to make love and get paid. Take the bad with the good, now let's play. Every day can't be the best day. Do what you can right now, don't hesitate. That's why we try to make love and get paid. Take the bad with the good, now let's play.
Made you more interested in politics, or yeah? Do you think the school does enough to highlight politics? No? Would you like to see more things like this?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Way more.
Nice one. We good? Yeah. Good. So, I wanted this project to open the doors to anyone looking to get past the bureaucracy of modern-day politics and cause real change. I wanted to find a way of making politics accessible to all, regardless of who they were, what they looked like, their level of academic intelligence. Look at me, for example. I'm an Essex boy with a dodgy outfit on, even a dodgier accent, and a background that's befitting of most young criminals. Throw in some dyslexia and a Justin Bieber haircut, and you've got someone who resembles someone completely different to a wannabe politician. But here we are, and this is where O2 Think Big come in. O2 took a chance with me, as they did with many other young people. They didn't look at my past experiences, academic history, or social status, but rather called me up and spoke to me, person to person, about what inspired me. I've got quite a forgetful memory, but I still remember that day 2 years ago when Sarah from O2 called me up and we had a chat about the project and about me. I remember thinking, here we go, another organisation looking to boost their good deeds through a CSR program that ultimately would just see me, fall off the back end. But 2 years on, I can tell you that that simply isn't the case. O2 Telefonica, unlike many organisations, have not simply signed a big check and let me lead the initiative. Instead, they've practically handed the keys of their company over to us young people and taught us more in these last 2 years than at any time throughout our lives. I had access to the top people in the organisation, all the way up to Ronan, and now the CEO of Telefonica Europe, a Think Big team that opened doors to literally hundreds of opportunities across the country and abroad, and were always available on the phone. And O2 mentors, who in most cases have never worked with young people in their entire lives, that done everything in their power to help us succeed. They jumped straight into the deep end, as did the amazing youth organisations that partnered with us, UK Youth and National Youth Agency to name a few, to ensure that what they were delivering was meaningful and relevant to us young people. More importantly than any of this, Think Big gave me direction. It connected me to other passionate young people who I'm proud to call my friends. You, Think Big, have personally led me down a road that within 2 years pushed me to do some truly amazing things. I've spoken on the main stage at the Conservative Party conference about the importance of political literacy, which also went out across BBC Parliament nationwide. I panelled numerous debates at Parliament with David Blunkett MP, Lord Phillips of Sudbury, Tim Loughton MP and many other influential decision makers. My advert was shown in front of an estimated 18 million people during the X Factor adverts on television last year. That was only because England lost the rugby, so they had to fill a spot, but it doesn't matter anyway because it was my video. I established a relationship with Radio 1 DJ Reggie Yates, which is still going strong, and he has put me in touch with numerous production companies looking to work with me now and in the future. I worked with other amazing young people in putting together the Think Big gig at O2's Indigo, which was a huge success and raised loads of money for other young people. I worked with Amnesty UK, the Association of Citizenship Teachers, and Democratic Life to put a campaign together to save citizen education in the UK. I'm now a contributor to the Huffington Post Online as well, which is fantastic because every time I get annoyed at something, I just get on the computer, write it out, and send it out there. And to top all of that off, I worked with an amazing director called China Moo Young on a 60-second ad that fronted a national PR campaign that went out across cinemas across the country, and I would love to play that video to you now. When I was 15, I actually got kicked out of school. But luckily for me, I got back in, went on to get a degree in international relations, and now work for the London School of Economics. In my spare time, I run a project called Hands Up Who's Bored, and it's basically trying to take the yawn factor out of political education. The most important thing to me is getting kids interested and engaged in politics. It's the one time that you need to engage them. Because if you don't engage them, then after that, they get to 16, 17, 18, they get to vote, and they're like, well, what am I voting for? Everybody has the right to a decent education, a political education. I want people to be excited about the prospect that they can actually change something. My political allegiances lie with young people and trying to get them involved in politics. So at 26 years old, I'm about 120 in Think Big Doggy years. I'm actually the old man of the initiative, really. But I'm going beyond the project now and taking the amazing experiences that I've gone through and taking them forward into my career. But because of you and the opportunities that you've given me, the doors are continually opening. I actually come from an interview this morning, and there's a likelihood that I'd get the job, and the hot topic through half of that was actually the Think Big initiative, which was timely for today. As a direct result of my work with you, I've become a Commonwealth Youth Exchange leader, and this April we'll be visiting Sri Lanka as part of a delegation trying to improve relations between young people over there and within the UK. I'll be meeting with the Sri Lankan president, his son, the Minister of Education, and 300 members of the Youth Parliament, discuss, amongst other things, conflict prevention, the future of young people in the Commonwealth, and the need for universal political education. In addition to this, I'm also working alongside BBC Three in developing programs aimed at empowering young people and engaging them not only in politics, but in many areas that they find interesting and inspire them. O2 Think Big has also boosted my career prospects and sits proudly within my resume and is always a hot topic of conversation when I'm being interviewed. I've recently been approached by several organisations looking to recruit me for youth outreach work, especially through social media and emerging technologies. Let's not forget that in the UK and across the world, young people are struggling more than ever to establish themselves in a career. And it's initiatives like this that are giving them that extra boost, that extra skill set that has taken them into a career that they deserve. I myself have learned how to manage people, communicate and network effectively, build professional relationships, and speak with confidence in public, which I'm hopefully doing fairly well today. So what about the future of this ageing Think Bigger? Well, I'm looking to strengthen ties between Think Big projects across Europe and hopefully push some collaborations with South American projects too. With my projects using social media and with me already holding political workshops through Skype with schools in the United States, I hope that this can be a realisation. I'm also collaborating with fellow Think Bigger Chris Critchlow in putting together a submission for Telefonica's Wyra, so fingers crossed about that one. Looking past this, I'm working hard to achieve my goal in taking what I've learned over the past few years and moving overseas to see what life is like working abroad. Somewhere beautiful and hot wouldn't go amiss, so Telefonica Colombia, if you're listening, give me a call. So by now, I hope I've shown you just a little bit of an impact of how much you've changed my life as an organisation and as a group of people. How utterly unique you are as an organisation for investing so much of your time and resource in guiding a generation that has so many obstacles to overcome in making this world a better and more prosperous place. It's true to say that this generation has had thrust upon it such a burden of responsibility than many other generations before it. On so many occasions, I felt so isolated and insignificant trying to improve my little piece of the planet because every time I switched on the television, there seemed to be yet another problem facing the world. But now I feel reassured because organisations like yours exist. And they're taking the steps that governments should have taken a long time ago. And what you're doing provides something lasting, something that young people can put their trust in as well as build upon and grow into the leaders of tomorrow. So I'm not going to leave this podium with a grand gesture that consists of me making some wild claim that I'll go from here and single-handedly solve the many problems that the world faces, because that would do an initiative like this an injustice. Instead, I'm going to leave you with the words of one of my greatest heroes, next to my parents and O2's Helen Parker, of course, and that's the words of Robert F. Kennedy. It is from numberless diverse acts of courage and belief that human history is shaped. Each time a man stands up for an ideal or acts to improve the lives of others or strikes out against injustice, he sends forth a tiny ripple of hope. And crossing each other from a million different centres of energy and daring, those ripples build a current which can sweep down the mightiest walls of oppression and resistance. This is what you as an organisation and a group of people are doing, not just here but across the world. You're not simply spending money on a quick fix. You're building a ripple of hope among young people, and through their work and the people they've helped, their messages of goodwill and the message of Think Big will spread. I have two modest yet amazing words for you on behalf of me and young people, and that's thank you. Sorry.